All right, so now that we got our doors in, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our window blocks. And if you take a look at your notes here, what you'll be able to see in the detail drawings here are all the dimensions for the line work that you'll include as detail. Keep in mind that you'll want to make sure that you have your base layer and your finish layers on, because the way that this fits together, we'll want to make sure that we can align it properly. Okay, so you'll take a look here at the dimensions for the sill, the frame there, and also the glazing, and then we'll talk about what layers all this line work goes onto, and also when we make the block, what layer that's going to reside on. So let's go ahead and take a look at our drawing. Now, I'm going to just start down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and if we take a look at our layers, okay, I'm going to turn on the interior construction line layer there, so I can use this as reference and just to lay out the rest of my line work there. Okay, so I'm going to use some offsets, and if we just take a look at our line work here, you can see we've got a little bit of offset here, a 1/2 inch offset and another 1/2 inch offset here to start the frame. You can see the frame there is going to be also set back from the wall finish. You'll see everything in this area right here. So let's try and make sense of this as we create this line work. Now, we could also just do 1/2 and then mirror the other half, which I think will make sense and help us reduce the amount of drawing that we've got to do here. Okay, so let's draw some more construction lines that we'll use. Okay, so let's start with the frame. So if I offset this line over to the right 1/2 inch, okay, we should have the outline of our frame, and then also we can see that we've got about a 1/4 inch from this edge coming inside. So if I offset 0.5, 1/2 inch from left to right, okay, and then we offset 1 1/4 inches, I could do 1.25 for example. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 1 1/2 inches there. So if we offset 1.5, there it goes. There's the outline of what would be the frame. And just to make it clear for you, let's go ahead and just outline that right now. Okay, there's that. And then next, if we take a look at the sill here. Okay, from this edge, we'll offset 2 1/2 inches. And then from the face of the exterior finish there should be 2 1/4 inches. And I realize that in our diagram here, you can see I don't have the other layer of finish wall there. So just go ahead and work with the offset and what you have as your finish wall. It's fine. Again, we're just trying to figure out a very simple approach to making symbols. So you can see it looks a little bit different here. But here's what I'll do, is I'll just create another construction line here. Okay, let's match those properties. I'll use match property there. Okay, and so from here out, I'll offset 2 1/4. So 2.25. That's to the outside. And then from here, 2 1/2 to this way. So 2.5. And so now, And it might help also to take all of those construction lines. It might help also to use the draw order. Take all those construction lines and send them to the back. That way you can see, right? You can see your finish wall and everything else on top. So really our outline here, let me go ahead and just make a temporary reference line. Actually, that goes from midpoint here to midpoint there. That'll be our reference line there. Our line work for the sill, you can see, will start out here. So if I go from here to this offset, and then bring it all the way back to the midpoint here, you can see how I can track. Okay, and then if I create the inside here, also all the way to the midpoint to there, I have the line work. Now it may not be visible right now, but here's what I'll do is I'll freeze the construction line layer, and now you can see. Right, so this is one half of the sill line work here. Here's one half of the frame, and we're also needing to show the glazing, right? So here, the glazing there, we could start at the midpoint, line it up with the middle there, offset just 1/2 inch, I believe. It could be to the inside or the outside. You can see there's all the line work that we need. All right. Now we want, if you take a look at the layers, we have a glaze and a glaze frame. We're going to want the window, the actual 2 lines here, to show up green, and we're going to make the rest of the block on the a glaze layer as well. So all of this other information, like the frame and the sill, will preset on a glaze frame layer, right? And just to complete all the line work now, I'll go ahead and take everything and simply mirror it to the other side there, like that. Now we can make our block. Now if you think about it too, let's say if you had other blocks or other windows, right, that were similar in style but different widths, okay? At this point, what you could do is you could make a copy of this line work so that later all you need to do is stretch those points, right? Like you might want to get the line work here and bring it inside or make it wider to accommodate your different window sizes, right? So we'll switch layers, A glaze, we'll go ahead and make a block, B for block, we'll call this window 1. As our base point, we can go ahead and use the midpoint of the wall there. For the objects, we want to go ahead and select the frame, the sill, all of this line work here. Okay, and then hit enter. Now here we can put our description if we like. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Just click OK, and there's our window. So you can see for most of these, all we'll need to do now is as we come in, we're on the glaze layer. When I go insert, I can use our insert button here. Here's our last defined block. If I wanted to remove the rotation option, I could do that too, or just click OK, specify the insertion point. I can still rotate it if I like, or just line it up with the wall, and there we go. As I move over here, I'll do the same thing. Just place it first, and then now you can see how I can use the rotate. I could also simply select, right-click, and use the copy selection, making sure I select the correct reference point there so it lines up in the other location. And then as I come over here, if I insert one more time, okay, so take a look at it. What I could do is start at the top here and then just simply rotate it towards the front like that. Now, what you'll see here is I have some overlap, okay? And what I could do here is going to be very simple, all right? I don't want to edit this block because it'll change all the other ones. but nothing is stopping me from exploding it. Okay? The only thing that's different is that those lines that were created on layer 0 now go right back to 0. If I just switch those back to a glaze layer, that should be good enough. Okay? And as I make the other copy here, now you'll see that if it's not a block, you can see I have to make all of these selections. And I got to make sure I select every single one of them, right? So for the most part, that's why we want to make blocks. So here, I don't need this part here, but I need this and that. And I'll use mirror. And as I mirror, I'm going to use the center of this portion of the wall here, and then a horizontal reference line there. And you can see we have just a very little bit of overlap there. Right? We got this little overlap. And you could just drag that grip so that we don't have an overlap there. Right? And then lastly, we've got this wall or this window here. So I'll just insert and once again bring our window in and then rotate it for the correct position. And that should complete our basic building envelope. In the next video, we'll start looking at stairs, railings, and then we'll follow through with our bathroom and kitchen areas.